Dear students, in this session we are going to discuss about how to build the applications with the Tkinter, and as part of this how to create menus and what is event, how to implement the events and how to create forms also we are going to cover. And before start this actual session, you must have at least basic idea about the Tkinter. I strongly suggest you to go through the video related to the Tkinter also. But let me cover few important points. Tkinter is a free library, no need to install that separately. Just if you have the Python in your system, directly you can use this Tkinter library. Then whenever you are working with any application where you want to use Tkinter, we need to follow some steps. Those steps are importing library, creating main window, add the widgets and run event loop. For each and every GUI programming with the Tkinter, we need to follow these steps. Then let me give a simple code to understand this first. Importing Tkinter and creating the root window. As per your requirement, if you want to set the title, because with the root window you can set it, and if you want to change the title also, you can change the title with help of the geometry. And main loop is to keep the root window actively. These are the common steps in all GUI programming languages. And apart from this, in any GUI programming, we need to add a separate code related to the widget or menus and so on. Then what is menu? Because we are focusing on the menus in this session, we need to know what is menu, what is the use of the menus. See the image, you can understand easily what is menu, what is the use of the menus. Technically, if you want to give any definition to the menu, we can give the definition like a menu provides a structured way. A menu provides a structured way for the user to access the different type of the commands, where each and every command is used to perform a particular task. Okay, it is a collection of the different commands where every command is used to perform a particular task. That is about the menu definition. Generally, this type of the menu you can find in any desktop applications or websites and the top of the window. If you open any window in the Windows operating system also, I think you may observe file menu, edit menu, help menu, all these are the examples of the menus. Then how to create this type of the menus in our project or in our application? What type of the code we need to write that? Now we are going to discuss that. First we need to create the menu bar. Apart from the previous steps, just now we covered the root window and active windows, those are as usual common. Apart from that, this is the code we need to write to create the menu bar first. To create the menus, first step is we need to create menu bar. Then how to create that? So this is as usual, I am skipping this because already I covered, no need to repeat again. So this is important point. Menu bar, that is the object name, assignment tk.menu. Here menu is a class name. With help of this class we can create a menu bar, and this menu bar is created as a child of the root window. That is why we need to use root as a parameter for this menu class. Then next one more method we have, the name is config method name, that is predefined. We need to write config only. The meaning is configuration. If you want to configure that menu bar, we need to use config predefined method. Then implementation, the code is root window object name is root dot config method menu equals to menu bar. So this is used to attach a menu bar to the window. What is the use of this statement? That statement is used to create a menu bar, not menu. Menu bar is different, menu is different. That bar is created, no any menu is displayed. That bar is created. That created menu bar should be attached to the window. For that we are writing this code. Menu bar creation and a created menu bar will be attached to this router window. This is the concept of these two statements. After main loop, that is active purpose only, already I covered. Then after creating this, now I want to create a menu. Then how to write the code for that? See here, file menu, that is object name, you can give any name, assignment tk.menu and menu bar Menu bar means, so I am creating this menu as a child of the menu bar, that is the meaning of this quote. Okay, I want to create a menu as child of the menu bar. The next attribute is tier of. The tier of attribute purpose is, if you assign 0 to the tier of, no dashed lines will be created. If you are not writing the tier of, when you click done in a particular menu, some dashed lines will be created. Just when you are trying to practice the code, remove this tier of, execute, and with tier of execute, then you can easily observe that output, you can understand it easily. Next, how to add a file menu to the menu bar. We created a menu bar. For that, now I want to attach a menu with the name file. File menu I want to attach. For that, the code is add underscore cascade. Add underscore cascade, that is a method name. With help of that method, we can add the files to the menu bar. Now, see, menu bar dot, already we created menu bar in the previous slide. That created menu bar, I want to add a file menu. As I said already, add underscore cascade is a predefined method. With help of that, we can add any menus to the menu bar. Add cascade, open parenthesis, label assignment file. What is the meaning of this is, label is an attribute. For that label, I am giving the name file. Simply, if you click on that menu bar, a file should be appear to the user, the text file. What is the name you want to assign to that menu? You can write that name. Might be file menu, edit menu, help menu. The text you need to write here. In this example, I want to create file menu. That is why I am writing file here, and that should be within the double quotes or single quotes. Otherwise, that raises an error. Then comma, menu equals to file underscore menu. Okay, we are attaching this menu to the file menu. Now, next important point, we created menu bar first. After that, we created a file menu. Now, when you click on the file menu, that should be displayed some commands like new, open, and exit, and so on. To add that type of the commands, we have another predefined method. That method name is add underscore command. Add underscore command, that is a predefined method. With help of that method, we can add the commands within the menu. Now, see the code, file underscore menu, that is a reference or object, you can say, dot add underscore command. I am adding that command. What is that command name? What is the name you want to display in that file menu? You need to write that. For that, we use attribute label, label assignment new. The meaning is, in simple terms, when you click on the file, a new text will be displayed. Okay, within the file, new. In the same way, in the same file menu, I want to add some more commands like open. See this, file underscore menu, object name, dot add underscore command to add the commands. And what is the command name? With help of the label, you can assign that. Label assignment open. Open command I want to implement in this menu. That is the meaning. In the same way, I want to implement exit command also. Same thing, file menu dot add underscore command, label equals to exit. Now, I am using command here. Observe, this is important in this example. Command assignment root dot quit, because when a user click on the file menu, and within that file menu, if user click on the exit, that should be closed. I think we have that type of the experience in the real life also. To implement such type of the events, we need to write the code like this, command assignment root dot quit. Now, same code what we covered in the 3 slides, you must write this complete code in a single file, save it with the name .py, then execute it. You can use any IDE like VS Code, Anaconda Navigator, or in simple text file also. After saving that, run this, and when you run this code, you may observe this type of the environment first. This is the result page. Okay, and if you observe, we have the file menu here. A file menu is created, and just click on that on the file menu, and you may observe the different type of the commands. Okay, a menu bar is created, in that a file is created, file menu, within that commands created. So, this is how to create menus. Now, suppose if you want to add edit menu, as of now we covered how to create file menu, within that we added some commands. Now, if you want to extend this by creating the edit menu, same method you need to follow. Just instead of the file menu, you can write edit concept. See here, edit menu, that is object name only, you can use any name, edit underscore menu, assignment tk dot menu, because that is also a menu, and attaching to the menu bar. Trf is for the good visualization purpose only, to avoid the dashed lines. Menu bar dot add underscore cascade, as I said already, we are adding that edit, label is edit, and for which menu? Edit menu. For the edit menu, the text should be displayed is edit. Edit menu is technical purpose, as developer you are using edit menu, but user purpose the text should be displayed is edit. And after creating the edit menu, if you want to add any commands, like generally we observe some commands in the edit, cut, copy, paste. So, if you want to add that type of the commands in the edit menu, as I said just now, add underscore command, predefined method, you can use it. Now, see, edit underscore menu object name dot add underscore command predefined method to add the commands, where you want to add and what is the name you want to display, you can write here. Label assignment cut, I want to display the name cut, comma, command. This command is used to what you want to implement, what is the action you want to implement when user clicks on the cut. Obviously, that selected text should be cut. So, for that we need to write cut underscore text, that selected text will be cutted from that one. And in the same way, edit menu dot add underscore command, this is about copy, displayed text is copy, and that action should be implemented whenever user select and the copy, that should be copied to the clipboard of the particular system. For that we need to use this code, command assignment copy underscore text, automatically that selected text will be copied to the clipboard. Then paste, label equals to paste, command equals to paste underscore text. So, if you run this, you can implement edit menu also along with the file. Within the edit menu, you can use the commands cut, copy, paste also. Now, see the result. If you execute the same code, you may observe two menus are created, file menu, edit menu. And if you created on the file menu, observe these are the commands we included already. And suppose if you click on the edit menu, observe cut, copy, paste. Okay. So, these are example how to create a file menu, edit menu, and added the required commands in the different menus. So, this is how to create menus only, but how to implement events also important. Just creating the menus not only enough, you need to create some buttons, and implementing the events also compulsory. Then what is event? How to understand the word event technically? In simple terms, event is an action. Events are the user actions or system notifications that your application can respond to. Whenever user click on a particular button, as a developer you need to implement a particular code, what you want to do whenever user click on the submit button or login button, that is the action. So, that is an event. Okay, that action should be implemented whenever a user clicked on the button, that is an example of event, and this will be triggered by the user. Examples are button clicks, key press, mouse move, all these are the examples of the events. Let me explain about the button click event with help of the simple code. First step is, as I covered, importing the library, import Tkinter as a tk and define a function as per your requirement. In this example, I want to create a button. For that, I am writing this function, define function name, say underscore hello, and colon is compulsory, that indicates a block is created. And what is the statement you want to execute? You need to write as a part of this function, print hello student. The particular print statement will be executed. Root window creation covered multiple times already, and button creation. So, focus here, this is the new point in this example. Root text assignment click me, a button is created, and that created button, the text I want to display is click me. Okay. Then whenever user click on that button, what I want to do is I want to call this function say hello. You need to write that function name as a value for the command property. After that, attach that created button to the root window, then that will be displayed, and window should be in the active state. For that we write main loop. So, write the code in a file, save with any name as I said, and execute it. You will get this type of the output. Observe here, and this button is created, and the text I have assigned to that button is click me. Okay, just click on that. After clicking on that button, you will get the output like hello student, because we have written that print statement in the function. Whenever user clicked on the button, internally the clicking is used to activate that function. And what is the code we have written in the function? Just output statement hello student. That is why you are getting that output hello student. Then let me tell you some more points about command. What is command? So, command is used to call a function whenever a button is clicked by the user. It connects button click to the function execution. It is just like a bridge. It is used to connect the button click to the function. Then here very important point is command assignment say hello. I am not writing any parenthesis here, but we know that in any programming language we use parenthesis to represent the function. But in the command statement I am not writing parenthesis. The difference is, if you write parenthesis, that function will be activated before clicking on the button, but I am not expecting that. As per our requirement, what I want to do is, whenever user click on the button only, I want to implement one action, I want to implement one event. In such cases, you should not write that predefined symbol, parenthesis symbol. Without parenthesis symbol, you need to write that function name, then only that will be implemented. That is the main reason why I am not writing that parenthesis here. Next, how to binding the events. We can create the events, we need to bind that event to a particular widgets. How to bind that? Tkinter widgets can bind to the events when a bound event occurs, and a specified function, that function is called event handler, is executed. In simple terms, when you user clicked on the button, that action should be bind with a particular widget. Then the widget must be called a function, then you will get the output. That is this process. Then how to bind this? For that, the syntax is widget dot bind. Bind is a predefined function name, and here we need to write event sequence, comma, callback function. What is the function you want to call? Event sequence means a string that describes the event. So, in this case, if I write suppose button 1 within the angular brackets, we need to write button 1 and B should be capital. The meaning of this code is left click. Okay, every string has a meaning, a separate meaning. Button 1 means left click. If you write a key within the angular brackets, that can understand like a user may press any key, then the event will be raised. So, like that every string has a reserved meaning. Then what is this callback function? Callback function is the Python function to be called when the event occurs. As we covered in the previous example, when user clicked on the button, say hello function will be executed. Like that, we need to write a function name here. Now, see, as I said already, every string has a dedicated meaning. If you write within the angular brackets button 1, the meaning is left click. When a user click with the left, then that can be identified. If you write button 2, the meaning of that code is scroll wheel, that is middle click, scrolling the scroll wheel. If user moves with help of this scroll, that is identified with help of that code button 2. Button 3, that button 3 is used to identify the right click. So, to identify each and every event, whether the user click with left click or whether user used right click or whether used a scroll button, respected to that line, we need to develop the code. If user click on the button with the left click, then you need to write button 1. If you want to implement one task, whenever user clicked with the right mouse button, then you must to write button 2. Like that, depends on your requirement, you need to change the code. Now, these are the major differences between command and bind. See, command, that is very easy to implement, bind is somewhat difficult, it is complicated syntax it has. And coming to the command, no need to use any parameter, simply just write the function name. But coming to the bind, you need to specify a function sequence and function name. It has some parameters, 2 parameters minimum we need to write, and multiple events. So, in the command we do not have any specific words to indicate the multiple events. There is no such type of the techniques we have in the command case, but in the bind case we have such type of the strings. Just now we covered button 1, left click, button 2, button 3 and so on. So, different events, different names, those are available in the bind. And if you implement a button concept, very suggestible method is go for the command. Command is very simple to implement with help of the buttons, and with the buttons, binding method is not usually suggestible because the code becomes complicated. Then what happens internally when we use command, when we use bind? When you use the command, automatically it handles the clicking event at the time of the command and calls that relevant function. In the case of the bind, you manually connect a specific event. You need to specify whether that is a left click or right click by using button 1, double button 1, key. In the case of the key also, you need to write key, the word key, where key is a capital letter in the key. Like that we need to specify. Then let me tell you some more useful mouse events like double button 1. This is the coding terminology. The general meaning is double left click. Okay, if you want to handle anything, suppose if you want to open any folder, generally we double click with help of the left click, we must use double click, double left click. If you want to run any task, when user use double left click, then you can write the code like double hyphen button hyphen 1. So, the meaning is double left click. And suppose whenever you want to execute any function, when left button is released, in this case I do not want to execute the code whenever user click on the button. When user release the button, at that time I want to execute the code. In that case, you can write button release hyphen 1. So, these are some example like motion, mouse movements without clicking also. Sometimes you may observe, just whenever you move the mouse, a pop-up will be displayed. So, such type of the things if you want to implement, you can go for the motion event. And enter event, whenever mouse enters into the widget, automatically the events will be handled. And leave event, so whenever the mouse pointer is leave from your place, then also you can implement any code that will be executed whenever the mouse pointer leave particular widget. So, this is the code related to the mouse event example. See, define mouse click function name, event is an object to receive that values, and print, only one statement I am writing for the simplicity to understand the concept. Print mouse clicked within the double quotation. So, that will be printed as it is, comma, event.x, event.y. This is important in this example, event.x, event.y. Why we are writing this and what is the use of this? Event.x is used to display the x coordinate value where you clicked on the mouse on the screen, and what is the x coordinate value on that root window, that value will be displayed. Event.y, where you clicked with help of the mouse and what is the value of the y coordinate, that value will be displayed. For that I am writing this code. Then binding, root bind button 1, because I am implementing left click. For that we need to write button 1 as I covered just now, and mouse click event. See, event x, event y, this is used to get x coordinate, event.y, it is used to get the y coordinate, and I am not implementing this. Still, if you want to enhance this, you can use this also, event.widget. Which widget was clicked, you can know that. For that we use event.widget. Now, the code what we discussed as of now, just try to execute that. At the first time you get this type of the output, observe, and assume that I clicked here, okay, I clicked here, then you may get the output like this. Mouse clicked at 8867, nothing but 88 x value, x coordinate value, and 67 is the y coordinate value. Okay. So, where you click, that values will be displayed. Next, how these keyboard events work in the Tkinter. So, as of now we covered different type of the mouse events. Now, let me tell you some more points about the keyboard related events. These keyboard related events execute when user press a key on the keyboard, and the Tkinter detects the keyboard event, and the bind method catches that event, what happened on the keyboard, that will be catched with help of the bind method, and relating that what is the function name we are assigning in the bind method, that relevant function will be executed. So, this is the general flow whenever we are working with keyboard events. So, like we can use a different type of the keyboard events also. With help of that we can understand what key is pressed on the keyboard. For that we can use event.char. Okay. Suppose if you execute this code and if you press G, you can identify key pressed G, nothing but you pressed G key. So, for that we can use the code like that. Event.char, event.key symbol name, event.key code, event.widget, these are some attributes. With help of these attributes you can identify which type of the character is typed or pressed, and what is the key symbol name we have for that key, what is the ASCII value, numeric code means ASCII value. Suppose if you press A, capital A, the ASCII value is 65. So, like that every key has the numerical value. If you want to know that, you can use this event.key code, and event.widget, widget where the event occurred. Like that, by using the different attributes we can get different values. Sometimes some key is pressed, but that does not have any value. Suppose return key, we cannot print that. So, in that case we can use the event return, and we can get the meaning that enter key is pressed. Event is escape, that is used to handle escape key is pressed. So, like that for each and every key we have the different events. With help of that we can identify which key is pressed. Okay. So, let me summarize what we covered here. What is menu, how to create the menus, and what is event, and what is the button event, what are the key events we covered. And for each and every program the common steps is importing the Tkinter, root window creation and packing is compulsory. After that button creations as per your requirement. For the menu creations we use different type of the methods like add underscore cascade, add underscore commands to add the commands. By implementing this you can create menus and implementing the event handling also. Thank you.